breakfast. Did you bring out the armor in case we get photobombed again? Everybody ready to rock? Oh my gosh, last week was non-stop. Welcome everybody. Hello, hello. It's as we all know, it is Wednesday, 10 a.m. time to make the donuts, and it is virtual breakfast. We're now on 28, 29, maybe 28. I think we're at 28. Anyway, welcome to virtual breakfast. For those of you, I know many of you in the Hollywood Squares, and I know more and more will continue to pop in. Good morning, Roseanne. I am Amy Cole, executive recruiter of 20 years. On the top left screen, you see a strawberry blonde sister, Lisa Waskelowitz, also in our business for 20 years. She looked frozen there for a minute. And my other team member is Barry Sayowitz. If you have any technical questions, you know where to go. Amy Cole Connect, 20 years executive search in consumer packaged goods, heavy into the apparel industry and fashion, beauty, and home. So anyone that's in logistics and supply chain, designing products, packaged goods, at this point, we service most companies that sell to Home Depot, Lowe's, Target, and Kohl's. So if you're designing or if you are doing analytics to run that business of Partners Online or K Connection at Kohl's, those are the companies that we staff. And we feel very fortunate that you all come and take a deep breath on Wednesdays to hear more about what's going on in that market, because that's my market. For a little kick in the pants. That's, I think, the most important and the most fun. We all need it. We all deserve it. We all love it, as well as some professional development. And our keynote speakers help us understand the market and how we can better position ourselves to really excel right now. So, this is for you. We are your personal advisory board. I recommend you all connect with each other. Please do that off-site, as we had our wonderful connection on our 25th virtual breakfast, and we had Michelle Tillis-Liederman talk about relationship, not results. So when we do breakout rooms today, we're not looking for results, we're not looking for a job, but we are looking to build a relationship to see what kind of things can come in the future. We know that God's got a big plan for our lives. We're very excited about that. We know that there is a place. We know it's been tough. I've been doing a lot of coaching, and a lot of the coaching right now is on why are you going into the black hole? How come it's so hard in business development right now? I too am doing business development with my team. We are writing the emails that are getting returned, to the tune of over 50% are getting returned, our emails, to the tune of no response on phones. Phones are hard to get today because of the cell phone game. You're all remote, so you now no longer have a main number at a company when you go to call a company. So therefore, I need to know John's cell phone, which why would I know that right now without knowing John quite yet? So that's a thought too. So technology is changing what we're doing. The COVID environment is changing us. We're in the Hollywood Squares on Wednesday, but we are here together. And we are an accountable source for each other. We're supportive, and you can be vulnerable. You can be raw with us. We don't mind. And I so appreciate you coming. So last week we had the excitement of the photo Zoom bomb. I want to thank everyone who then wrote to me and said, hats off, you handled it well. Lisa, our guest, doesn't know this, but last week in the middle of our virtual breakfast, yes, we had some Zoom bombers with language that was very flowery, shall we say, very colorful language. We all signed out, we all signed back in, and they were still there. So we were hacked, and then we all jumped back on in another way through another link. And today's a secure link in a different way. But that was fantastic. But thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you for the notes. Thank you for some of the Zoom Bob tips. I was given links to how to stop this and to build security around my Zoom relationship, because I do a great deal of Zooming. So thanks for being a part. And I don't know, it kind of felt like it was one of the an experience that we all got to experience. So in addition, last week we talked to Tammy McCowan. Tammy is a 30-year business owner, woman business. We love her inspiration for being so forthright. And she is in the compliance industry where she is making garbage liners and PPP and sanitation, and interesting to hear about what's happening in that world right now, and that is actually a challenge in some ways. She has, let's just use a number, 100 accounts, and doesn't have the product to service all her 100 accounts, and each account feels that they deserve the most hand sanitizer. So she has to emotionally decide how to do that, and how do you continue to build partnerships. We are here every week to talk about the 5 P's of your professional edge. Your purpose. What gets you up in the morning? Is it the people piece? Is it empowering? Is it statistics? What is it that you've always done that's at your core? Your branding. How are you delivering your skills and expertise? And today in this market, we're hiring branded individuals that show their holistic person before just that skill. So your branding is very, very impactful today. The professional profile, that's how you put those things on your LinkedIn and your resume, and how you interview. Your profile. What is Amy Cole putting out there when she speaks to networks, when she speaks to an interviewer, right? When you're talking to your uncle and on the phone so he can be your marketing engine. What's my profile? Do I understand my core strengths, the brand that is wrapped around it, and how I benefit that company? What's in it for them? We're going to speak to this recruiter, Lisa, today a lot about that professional profile is critical. You need to know your profile more than anybody so that other friends can regurgitate it, because today jobs are going to be found through friends and a network, and so on and so on. The fourth professional P of your professional edge is your partnerships. That's what we're doing here every single week. You're building partnerships. You're building partnerships for business intel. You're building partnership for professional development intel, for support, for accountability. You want to have complementary partners that complement what you're doing. You don't compete, but you both build each other forward. Together, we are stronger. I always say, why build alone? I love partnerships. I'm big, big, big into the partnership thing, as you all know. And then lastly, positioning. Where are you positioning your profile? Where are you positioning yourself to be a nugget, a resource, to be found, to be an influencer, to be a leader, to be where you want to go? And I really always say this to all my classes. For those of you that aren't in some of my coaching classes, this is a marathon and not a sprint. We are building so that we find places that we're happy and we seamlessly grow. We want to continue to build. We know that financially right now, there's things you got to look at and say, okay, I'll do that for a minute. We can talk about that. But in addition, if you are not spiritually filled, if you are not truly engaged in what you're doing, you will not succeed, and you're not helping a company succeed. So it is important that we all say that this matters to me, and I want to be in something that really does get me excited. I mean, look at me. I look at you guys show up and I'm like ready to rock. Well, I'm like this every time I'm on the phone with everyone. I just love my job. I feel very, 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 very blessed that I'm in the people business. And I went through sales, and I was a physical therapy major. I mean, this is a journey, but I took the risks and it worked. So anyway, welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I want to invite Lisa Plant. Now, Lisa Plant and I are just getting to know each other. I'm always transparent. She is a Boston girl who met my sister, Kristen, who's also on the call. Kristen Spizzato, raise the hand. There she is. I love it. Hi, sis. And in recruiting, they were chatting about the virtual breakfast and what recruiting is all about. And they had a cocktail. I will tell you that. And Kristen said, you need to meet my sister, Amy. You guys are in the same business. You have that same je ne sais quoi, fabulous. You love what you do now, but Lisa's in a completely different realm. So Lisa, if you can unmute yourself and share a bit about what you are currently doing in your market, or for everybody quickly, when you're called on today, name, industry, and title. Okay. So Lisa, if you could start with that, that would help us a great deal also.
Absolutely. Well, it's a pleasure to be here. I've heard about these webinars and I'm so happy to join on the Wednesday morning. I wanted to introduce myself. I'm Lisa Plant. I've been in the industry of recruiting for, we'll say, over 20 years. So it's more like 28. I had joined the industry based on what Amy had said. I was a sociology major. I went into accounting. I had no idea what I wanted to do with my life, but liked numbers, was good at it. Realized I'm never going to get anywhere as an accountant. And I went to an agency and they said, "Hey, would you be interested in what we do?" And I thought, I would love to do this job. And the rest is history, as they say.
Okay.
I have specialized mostly in technical recruiting, but my philosophy is when you go to a company, if they have a need, you fulfill that need. So I have filled not only technical positions in engineering, in business and sales operations, I've filled other positions in accounting, in any kind of need that they have, really. But the focus has been on technical recruiting.
Okay.
So that's my background.
Well, I love the Boston roots. It's fun because I have left and come to New York for many years now, but it's such a treat to the minute we connected, it was just, I don't know, is it geography that connects people or is it just spirituality? It's all of the above, right? So I have a couple of pointed questions. Everyone on the call, we are either executives looking for advancement, we're either in our small businesses, and or we have been furloughed or let go. This is really a resource. It's a family, as you know. I would love to ask you, because I saw in your past that you did contract recruiting for Sonos. I know everyone loves that technology. What would you say? Do you feel we're going to see a shift into more of this contract right now? I know it was your past, but as a recruiter, I'm finding things too, and I want to ask you that. What do you feel? Are people being asked to play part-time roles or temp to perm roles or come in as consultants? Or what's your gut?
You're talking from a recruiting standpoint, Amy, is that correct?
Yeah, and from because you and I are in the trenches of the industry. Yeah, I'm asking from a recruiting or from just what are you feeling the labor force is going to look like, or where are we headed?
Okay, but not only for recruiters, but for other positions.
Correct. Yeah,
Okay,
for the industry. Yeah, yeah, everybody.
sure. So I have not seen that in my recruiting industry experience. I actually have only hired permanent people. When I find that people want consulting roles, companies are not interested.
Okay.
So for the most part, they are still looking for permanent employees.
Do you think that's because of technology? Because I'm finding a mix. I mean, this is why we're here. I'm finding a mix. My companies want, well, I too come from a full-time background. And why I feel this way, and Lisa, you may want to concur. I don't want to help people get jobs that 6 months later they've got to find another job. It's hard enough to find the job. Also, I have large corporations, and I won't call people out, but let me call a few out. The Gap, Victoria's Secret, some large organizations, because we're in a lot of fashion companies, they will hire temporary people for 3 years, and then they're not obliged to vacation and certain types of benefits, which I can ask men and women that go out for jobs and say, guys, we need to get you the package. This is so you can take your 2 weeks with your child and take time off with your mother ill and things like that, you know?
Absolutely. Well, we both know, and many of us on the call know, that this is a way that companies can get around paying a lot of money. So it's not only the vacation time, but it's a full benefits package. I myself was on contract at Nokia for just about 3 years. I've
Oh,
been at my current company on contract for a year and a half, actually a year and almost 3 quarters.
okay, so that then maybe I'm misreading. I felt you were recruiting in the contract space.
I am. I'm actually a contract recruiter at the company. But
Okay,
what I'm saying is all of the other recruiters are there on a permanent basis, and I'm the only consultant there.
okay,
So when I go into a company and I talk with them, usually it's for a contract role. They've occasionally asked me, would you be interested in permanent? But I've been going from one contract to one contract. So I'm specifically talking about myself and my
right.
position.
And
As
recruiting you can do that because we are people. One of the things about recruitment, and I think one of the things about when I talk about your 5 P's of your professional edge, if you can understand your profile clearly and distinctly, when you spill that to a recruiter, we should have the intuitive gift to understand the other benefits of your gifts. Okay. It's my role and Lisa's role to package you again to my client. And I often take everything we've talked about and spin it even in a new direction because I know what they're looking for. Correct, Lisa?
That is correct, absolutely. And many times, a company will hire someone on a contract basis, and it's a great way for them to test the employee. I'm talking about any other role besides an HR role.
Yeah.
So you go in and you're thinking it's going to be a contract. Always say, I'm open to contract, because they want to give it a test run. And after 3 months, they could possibly, be engaging you in a permanent role.
Yeah, no, I'm agreeing. So, what would you say are some of the key elements you look for in a person that comes to you as a candidate?
I want to know that they've done research on the company. I want to know what they can offer to the company and the position. I am very interested in knowing of them as a person. I want to know what their accomplishments have been, but how does it pertain to the specifics of what we are looking for? They come in and they have a specific background. They start talking about all the engineering and the technology that they've used. Does the technology match what we're looking for? And I want to get right to the point, and I'll let them talk and I'll speak to them about their background and why they're good at what they do. But how are they a great fit for this specific role? That's what's really key.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I do a thing, and I'm going to just take the mic for a minute because this is so funny. We talk about this every single week, but I educate those, in addition to my 5 P's of your professional edge, what's in it for them. When you are interviewing, to your point, Lisa, what are you bringing to the company? What's the benefit to them? What's their ultimate goal? They're hiring you to reach their ultimate goals, not your ultimate goals as a candidate.
That is so key.
Yeah, and it's your cover letter. What's in it for them? So, guys, here is, and we talk about teaching moments on the virtual breakfast. If your particulars out in the marketplace don't highlight what is in it for the company that you're talking to, the small business you want to partner with. Okay, we do have small business owners on here, and I love that, because what's my benefit to a company as a recruiter? I am saving them time and money so they can focus on their own business while I spend the 48, 60 hours a week finding the key candidate for them. And I hope to decrease their churn, their employee turn. Retention is critical in employees. Why is that? The cost of replacing an employee can often be 300 times someone's salary. You lose training. You lose them understanding the internal of the company. You lose relationship when someone leaves internally in the company, as well as externally with your client. So you start to have to start again. The uptick, if you can decrease your retention through a recruiter, Amy and Lisa go out and find people that fit culturally, specifically skill set wise, and know what the benefit is to that company. We are of value to that corporation. That's what, and I've got to sell myself that way as well. What's in it for that company? It's not that they get a great salesperson, although that's what they hired me to get. It's that these people stay and their teams are constantly building. And I feel really fortunate. There's a few people on this call that know me well enough to know that I've staffed some companies for 19 years and have employees that have been there 19 years. And that's when you, if you may pat yourself on the back as a recruiter, say, those were good hires. And that guy's coming back to me. That CFO's calling me back again because he or she is not replacing them. So that's really critical. That's really critical. So listen, I am going to ask I'm going to popcorn and say hello to, I haven't seen Winsome Lee in a long time. I'm going to ask her what's happening in her world. And either Lisa and I can, answer that question. How's that sound, Lisa? You on the plan?
That sounds great.
Okay, Winsome, please unmute yourself. Good job. And I'm going to spotlight you. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I am good. So your name, your title, and your industry, and then what type of question would you ask a recruiter today?
Sure. My name is Winsome Lee. I've been in fashion retail industry for over 15 years. Previously, I was the director of project management at Calvin Klein's global marketing group. My question for a recruiter today would be, I have a very diverse background, and some people have told me that I should bring that more into the forefront. How do you most, I just wonder how recruiters would like to hear that, because without me sounding like it's a dinner party conversation, because a lot of it is in performing arts and whatnot, and it doesn't directly pertain to the group. To the job I'm applying for. But at the same time, it actually might speak to my team leadership skills, because I've worked with a big team of people with dance companies, choreographers, whatnot. So is it something that you would like to hear, first of all, when you get a cover letter or in a screening interview? And how is it best to lay that out?
Absolutely. I'd love to take that, Amy. So, what I love at the end of an interview, at the very bottom, I should say, of a resume, is interests. And there you can highlight what you're interested in. I want to see that a person likes ballroom dancing or they have joined a certain organization. You never know if that hiring manager has that interest. Volleyball champion in my junior year of college, whatever it is that can make you stand out apart from other people.
Okay, and I'm going to add on a little bit, Winsome. In addition, I agree with Lisa 100%, but notice she said it's at the bottom. Okay, I am still hiring you for your core competencies to come move the needle in my business. So when I get back to that professional profile, I need to know those 3 core nuggets that you are bringing to the table, that it has nothing to do with the dance. To me, what happens, that managing large choreographies, managing people, motivational, that's a soft skill, and I am hiring it. Man, oh man, and Lisa can say this today too. During COVID, we are hiring emotional intelligence, soft skills, leadership skills more than ever. However, I'm paying you on my books and my profit and loss balance as an employee, and human capital is one of the largest expenses for a company, to move the needle in my business. How you move that needle is because of that yummy, I understand how to motivate people. I can organize a chart. I happen to be really great with communications. So yes, and we actually, she's not on the call today, but we have some I have some Olympic folks on the call sometimes, and it's a great conversation because it brings out humanity. But when you're also educating friends on what your core competencies are, they need to be able to be your marketing engine. I bring this up a lot because, guys, everybody, we're going to find jobs through people today, this minute. I'm a recruiter. I do not have all the list of jobs I used to have. My list is this big. So companies are holding back right now on using me. They're going to use me a little bit more in about 12 months, I have a feeling, and it is revving up. But if that's the case, if networking is the #1 way to find a job, you better be able to succinctly tell people what you do. So cut out the fat. Okay, do you get where I'm going? I love your dance background, and I agree with Lisa. It's delicious and it makes you who you are and it fulfills the need. But in certain cases, we need to be succinct so that I can then regurgitate how great you'll be at that company.
Absolutely.
And
Okay.
to fall back on what Amy said, it's possible that people might look at that and say, how much time does that take up? If they are treasurer of their junior high students' key club, is that involving a lot of time during the week? I will look at that. Should I be looking at that? Probably not really as an HR person, but I will look at that as a recruiter.
Yeah, absolutely. Winsome, thank you, my friend. Good to see you.
Likewise.
Been a while. Let me take a look at Hollywood Squares and see. Rasha, you'd like to say, how are you?
So I've had, can you hear me?
Yes,
Sorry.
I can. Yeah, I can hear you. Mhm.
Okay, so I've had some conversations by simply pitching myself to companies that didn't have a position necessarily, but I saw gaps in their business where I could help or increase their profitability. And is that something recruiters would be willing to do? So like if you have a really good relationship with one company, and I know you have that relationship, and I see an angle where I think I can add value, save money, reduce quality issues, build more of a sustainability platform, these type of things, and I talk to you about it and you see an opening, would you pitch that to the company as a possible entry?
Lisa, you want to say? I mean, I have an opinion, but.
I'd love to hear your opinion first, Amy.
Okay, all right. And Rasha, I'm just going to highlight me so that you don't feel uncomfortable for 1 second. Guys, unfortunately, as recruiters, our role is to fill the role that the corporation has given us. Yeah. But I want to share something. What that value adds, Rasha, when you and I speak, and this actually happens often. I just spoke to a man, actually, very senior. He is in product development and production out of Mexico. Now, with all of the Chinese tariffs changing, people are looking into Mexico for more production, right? So he gave me an opportunity to use him. I would never use his name because that's overstepping a boundary. I always get your position to present you to a company. Every recruiter should respect that for you, just so you guys know. But I did say to a CFO, guys, are you thinking about leaving China? And he goes, well, we're looking in El Salvador. And I said, well, I'm asking because I have someone in Mexico that knows that, and he could be a great asset. So in that case, Rasha, I am willing. I honestly, forgive this words, everybody, but will take advantage of the wonderful nugget that you've given me and you've seen that you could be of value. And I use it to open the door to the conversation to the company. I can't start every morning and just go out and market candidates that could fill a new void in that company, because you are trying to sell them on something unique and new. Okay, that's Amy Cole, recruiter. Amy Cole, a candidate. Rasha Alamar, a candidate. I think you should write to someone on LinkedIn and share the value you see in the most genuine of ways, because that does set you apart. To go to someone that would be a C-suite person or a divisional director in that category and say, I've taken a great deal of interest in your organization. I happen to be passionate about sustainability and feel like I would like to share a thought with you. Not you want the job. I'd like to share a thought with you. So Amy, the recruiter, can't go market, but you guys can. Lisa, do you want to jump in on that?
I do. That's actually perfect. I have had people reach out to me and talk about their backgrounds and that they're looking for a position and is there anything at the company? I don't have time to find that person a job. I am there to fill positions in my current workplace. So although I'd love to talk with people and assist them, Amy's so right. Talk to the company about how you can help fix a problem. What is their need? And you don't see a position. However, I noticed that you may have a need for someone doing this. Guess what? That's me. Why don't you talk to me? I think I would be great at.
Yeah, I think so too. Thanks, Lisa. Yeah, it's actually it's an exciting time right now, because we have to communicate in new ways, right? And, we don't ever want to come across as know-it-all-ish. That is one thing that a company is very turned off by. I, as a recruiter, am turned off by, oh, I could do that job. I know you can do that job. Humility is a beautiful, beautiful gift. Humility with confidence is a beautiful gift. So, I feel as though there might be an opportunity there. I want you to be confident, but I want you to say, in my experience, this is where I brought value. I could do that for you. Okay. All right. Rasha, you had one other thing, super quick, my friend. I just want to go to some other people.
Sorry, it's just that I think it's an unusual time, as everybody knows. And I found when I'm speaking to companies, they don't really fully know what they want yet. They're kind of trying to feel things out, and they'll be like, oh, we just acquired a brand, please contact us in another 6 weeks. And somebody just contacted me yesterday and was like, oh, we have an opening, but there wasn't anything. There's nothing solid. Everything's kind of up in the air, and they're trying to assess their needs. That's all I want to say.
Okay, well, you're not wrong, and that is happening, and people are reevaluating their teams. They're reevaluating where they're headed, their direction. Amy Cole is doing it as a recruiter. I'm coaching right now. We've talked a lot about that. 80% of my revenue, 87% of my revenue last year was recruiting, and 13% was coaching. I am now doing a great deal of coaching and recruiting. This is how people are navigating. So I like that you brought this up, because it's right back to what's in it for them. What's the value you bring? So use that as a platform to say hello on LinkedIn and other places, to open up conversation. Relationship, not results, everybody. Don't beg for the job. It's a relationship you're building for something that they will then call you back for later. Anybody else want to raise their hand? I'm just going to look at 3 sheets of squares. Anybody? I see something in chat. Okay. Fred, how to handle overqualified statement. Let's talk about that. It's a good one. The marketplace today, and it's no hidden secret, and I'm not afraid, and Lisa can say this as well, I am sure, we are in a situation where ageism is not in our favor, which is unfortunate. I think it is because of technology, to be honest with you. I think it's all because of technology. It's as long as we feel confident that we can absorb new technology and understand new technology platforms, then we are viable individuals because we are all on a learning curve together. I am learning every day about Zoom, right? I am learning how to train, how to teach. We're all learning how to do our jobs technology wise. When it comes to ageism, it's right back to what's in it for them. Don't make excuses for yourself. Please don't do this. And I actually did a whole seminar on interviewing 20 plus years into your career. My nephew helps me with that on my Apple phone. Okay. We do know that your nephew's helping with you with that on your Apple phone because my nephew's helping me too. But guess what? That's not cute and funny in an interview. I know you're trying to gain some type of warmth and genuine and relationship build, but they want to know that that stuff doesn't even frighten you. You're jumping right in. Fake it till you make it. I'm all for it. Okay. But we talked about there's some platforms where you can get technology lessons. Google's offering things on how to use G drives, how to use Acuity calendars, how to use things that are now a mainstay in every business. Okay. So that's one piece that really is why ageism exists, is that they are afraid that you no longer can keep up with that technology, which is not true of everyone on this call. I know it for sure. Number two, you always speak on what's in it for the company. You cannot go wrong with that, whether you're 5 or 50 or 500. Your skills and expertise and what you have done for another company are going to ring true to that company that's hiring. Okay, it is going to ring true because they can apply it to their business. So that's when I say qualitative and quantitative on your resume, things that you've accomplished. I built something from 2 million to 60 million in 3 years, qualitative, and you quantify it with the actual years it took. Okay, you can come do that to their company. Doesn't mean it whether you're 15, 50, or 500, as I say. Lisa, I know you have a comment on ageism and I'd like to hear it.
It is, I'm in such agreement with this. I am a firm believer that if you can do the job, it doesn't matter what your age is. And I really truly believe that companies are looking at people and they will say they have this experience. It's all a matter of how you present. How do you interview? Are you there and talking with them and they've granted the interview? They're willing to talk with you because they see you have this background that they need. And you get there and it's all about, yeah, you know, boy, it's frustrating. Boy, I need a job. I want to see that energy. I want to see that you can technically do the role as far as using the Zoom, just everything that Amy just said. But if you have a contribution to make to this company that's very specific to them, again, it's very tricky because you can talk about your 30 years of experience and what you've done over the 30. I want to know, we have this issue. How does it pertain to this position? What can you do in this role that will help us, no matter how old you are, no matter what number of years you have?
Well, I'm going to popcorn on that because that's awesome. You know, when Lisa just said the 30 years, please don't interview. Wow, I could like, okay. Do not regurgitate your life's history when you go interview. I do not care. They don't care. Everyone is a self-centered. They're looking to build their business. That's why they're hiring. What's in it for them? What's in it for them? What's in it for them? Have your professional profile. Have your business pitch if you're a small business in here. What's in it for them? What are the 3 core competencies? We know you've got 12 core competencies, but get it down to 3. The other 9 fall under those 3. What are the 3 in the industry that are moving the needle right now? What's most important? Okay. So that's, you know, when you just said, you say 30 years, you are starting to date yourself. You don't need to bring it up. You're not hiding it. They can read a resume. They know when you graduated from, they can find out, but we don't need to elevate that into their mind either. So for example, I used to work at Warnaco, no longer and out of business. I used to staff Jones, New York, no longer and out of business. I'm not going to put those companies on my marketing materials. Those companies are out of business. Done, done, done. Shows I'm an old lady. Right? I'm going to talk about the companies I'm staffing right this minute. Amazon, Target, Kohl's, brands that are on fire this minute. Right? So stay current in your conversation about your industry also. That's another thing that shows you don't have the ageism situation going on. I do, and Fred, thank you for the question. Please know I respect it is an issue. And I don't think Lisa's discounting that it's not an issue either. We do understand it and we get it and it sucks. It stinks. It's crappy. It's not fair. And I don't like it either. However, it is the way we position ourselves as polished individuals today and have that professional edge, which is great. All right, guys, I am going to share a way for you to be a part of my world. If you would like to coach in a different way, we have Job Search University. I am going to share my screen. I'm going to pull up Job Search University for one quick second. Amy Cole Connect, hold on, I need 2 seconds. So Job Search University is where we get into this kind of stuff on a weekly basis. And it is something that is, hold on, I'm not sharing my screen yet. Don't go, sorry. We dig into this every single time. Okay, not every single time, the ageism. We dig into all of these topics at all times. And it is a place, it is bi-monthly. It is a membership group call. You have individualized attention, and we help package your career experience to be relevant today. And I actually say relevant in the digital age. And the reason why I say that, it is different. LinkedIn has to be different than your resume, but it's 80% the same, but LinkedIn is that personalized, yummy. I got to know Lisa on her LinkedIn quickly before introducing myself on the phone, you know, because that's the personal place. But all your core competencies have to come out on it. Your search engine optimization has to be high so people find you and you're not just one of 650 million people on LinkedIn today. It's an opportunity for you to build confidence of your core competencies, to build confidence on how to interview in the way Lisa and I are speaking. Repackage yourself if we think that some of the skill sets are dated that we're putting on there, or understand how to nail digital interviews. And also there is a library accessible to you for 20 plus hours of content. Okay, so it's Amy Cole Connect / Job Search University membership. I will throw this into the chat. I want you to take a look at it. It is a monthly membership of $97, and you have access to a library at all time where you will master your job search essentials. And I am here for you. Lisa and I are here for you constantly if there's other questions you have. But do take a minute to take a look at this to see if it's a place where, if you feel you're falling into the black hole, or right now you need to pivot completely, we'll talk about your transferable skills. It is a group conversation. We talk about writing cover letters that get a call back. Again, spinning in what's in it for you. You will nail what's in it for them while you take part in this particular class. So I welcome you to join. Here's a couple of people that have been happy. I love everybody in here. Lisa DiNapoli is amazing. Jessica Fiddler is darling. And Lisa's very high in her career, and Jessica, it would be mid-career. So it's for everyone in all different careers. So I invite you to join Job Search University if you would like that to be a piece of where you take the next step on what you're looking to do and to accomplish. Would love to have you. Okay. Chiquitas and men and everybody, I'm going to get you that. There's your link right in your chat. Oh, that went to Lisa. So I am going to move everybody into breakout sessions. Okay. Everyone has been enjoying networking. I've gotten a great response to the networking piece of virtual breakfast that we've added on. Again, we're building relationships, not results. What is your number one takeaway from COVID? I'm going to give you 6 minutes and you're going to have 4 people. Is it family? Is it challenge? Is it, what would you say? Hold on, now I have more. Oh, phew, I didn't know how to do this. Okay. What would you say is your biggest, what is your number one takeaway from COVID, personal or business? But I actually am going to ask another one after, more businessy. So what's your number one takeaway professionally? And I'll give you 6 minutes. There's 2 to 3 people in your breakout. So you each have about 1.5 to 2 minutes.
Hi, Barry.
I was on mute.
Yeah. How's it going?
I like when you talk to yourself. It's going well. How are you?
Well, I guess we'll wait for other people, but I think just to start out, for me, the biggest takeaway has been doing things differently. Professionally, obviously professionally and personally, and really finding new ways to function, and new ways, new ways to carry on, even rituals, new ways to do the rituals that keep me grounded. You know, it's really been a time to open up and explore.
What industry are you working right now?
Well, I've done a few things. So my background is in graphic design and fashion. I've worked as a graphic designer and creative director for years, and I've also worked in fashion where I've had two of my own fashion companies. One was children's wear, and then one is a women's performance wear line, which I'm doing. I'm doing that and actually relaunching or revamping it right now. So kind of in the midst of just reconfiguring and reframing
Right,
that.
right.
How about you?
Well, yeah, I totally agree. I think I've been in the creative fields also. I actually was an art director and I'm a painter.
Oh, I didn't hear you. What was it?
I was an art director in advertising agencies. I have a jewelry company, and now I'm working with Amy. So you're absolutely right. I think what I found also is that you really need to depend on yourself a lot more in this environment. So you need to look inside and kind of understand yourself a little bit better. And believe it or not, I'm probably one of the few people through COVID that actually left their job. I had a job, I worked at FedEx office for 18 years.
Oh, wow.
And I decided that it's not for me. I'm not happy with it. And COVID brought that to light. Because of the way the company handled it, the things as a manager, I managed 15 people, and how my people were treated, and what I was asked to do just didn't make sense to me. I didn't agree with it. And I said, you know what, I'm doing something else. So that was a huge, huge decision. Probably one of the biggest decisions I've made in a long, long time. And I haven't looked back.
Good.
You know, I really haven't. So I think you're absolutely right. Doing things differently, learning things differently, working with Amy, she does things completely different just in her approach, managing a business because I was very corporate. And I did have my own business, and I did things because I've been working in a corporate environment for 18 years. It's kind of like stuck in there, you know, this corporate process that you go through, which can be definitely staggering. You can stagger your creativity, you can stagger the way you go about things, but also on the flip side, there's a lot of good qualities to it also. So, you know, I think just looking at your family, how important they are, because, you know, we were isolated for a long time.
Are you in the city?
We're back in the city, but we were out east, and I covered Long Island as part of my territory, and we rented a house off season, so I would stay at the house.
Right.
And so one day I went out to cover my territory, and I never came back. We stayed out there, and then Amy came out a couple of days later, which was kind of fortunate because that is when the city was the hot spot. Right. Are you in New York, or are you living in New York?
I am. I'm in the city, and yeah, it really caused a lot of, you know, reflection. And I actually I'm the reverse of you, where I've been entrepreneurial. I was in corporate for quite a while, and then went entrepreneurial for the last 20 years. And then was thinking to go, because of some shifts that have happened with family, to go back into corporate. And it was more for the collaborative work, because the entrepreneurial can get, you know, isolating. So I knew, you know, I didn't want to stay entrepreneurial on my own, or really not so much entrepreneurial, but solopreneur. And so started to look more to corporate and started to think, okay, do I want to shift back into the graphic design, because I had done so much branding and graphic design before the fashion. And then even in the fashion, I was doing it for my companies as well.
Yeah.
So it's interesting that, you know, it's like my thing is, how can I, and the interviews I've had, it's how do you reframe, and how do companies, or do they put a value on that entrepreneurial, because I find that some of the recruiters I speak to get excited about the entrepreneurial, background and what you can accomplish. But then when the company at times would be like, well, she doesn't have the corporate experience. She doesn't
Yeah.
have,
No.
or recent, more current.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's on an individual basis. I totally agree. But I think a lot of companies, if you're a fit, they're really looking for that fit. And a lot of companies, like I was an entrepreneur, I ran my own business, even though it was a corporation, I had my group. We were accountable to revenue, we were accountable for activities. So it was like having my own business, it really was. So the entrepreneurial spirit was pretty important. Pamela, we have to go back.
Already.
It was great chatting with you.
Too.
So
Okay, take care, Barry.
You too. Bye.
I love it. I love it. When everyone starts popping back in, I'm going to ask a few people to share. We're getting closer. They're coming back. They're coming back. So I'm learning every time, and you all know this, and this is great, that there is a 60-second lag. So if I give you a 60-second hello and then I close it down, it's still 60 seconds. Anyway, Amy Cole is learning. So I'm sorry if there's some disconnect or if there's some delay or any of the above, forgive me. And Cindy Ray is my biggest supporter. And I love it. From Texas, dressed up with lips on. Thank you. We didn't talk about this morning, but I'm a bigwig on this. This is networking 2020. So your relationship with this screen and your dress and your makeup and your presentation is what you're putting out there today, forever. This is what's happening. So thank you. I teasingly say thanks for the lips on, Cindy Ray. I'm really not joking though. I mean, today I feel like my hair's a little fluffy. It's all good. But there's a lot of self-love in this video screens also. We need to remember we're all crushing it. We are crushing this, and it's exciting to be together, and we're moving forward every single day. And for those that are feeling there's some discourse and it's been tough, we get it. We're with you. We're crying on our own too sometimes, and it's okay to feel those feelings too, because you can't always be so gangbusters ahead. It's really a unique place. And I know many of you are applying a great deal, and sometimes it's just a spin wheel feeling. So do not feel alone, okay? Amy at Amy Cole Connect is my email. Lisa at Amy Cole Connect is, and we are here. So I'd like to invite JR to say hello, because JR, I feel like I haven't seen you and I may not know you, my friend, or maybe it's just but can you, your name, your title, and your industry, and welcome.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Joanne and I work in the fashion industry. I've been in the fashion industry for 10 plus years. And I worked as a designer. I worked as a tech designer, a graphic designer. So I've had a pretty broad experience in that area. And the biggest takeaway actually for me for COVID has been having the ability to have time to look into other careers and other industries. I feel that this is an opportunity. I think somebody mentioned it before. This is an opportunity to grow and see what areas are in the new world that's being created for us, what we can go in there and do. Bring our experiences from the past, new passions that you may have. I have a new passion for technology and design in technology. So this is where I'm at personally, where I want to combine my creative side of fashion with the need of technology right now that we've seen Zoom calls, Google Drive, all these things. How do I combine that and make a new industry for myself? And
Good for you.
Still feel excited about working and I mean, this is a big challenge. Talking to someone on the computers is a challenge, but at the same time, maybe this is a new opportunity. So this is where I am personally.
Well, nice to meet you. How did you find Virtual Breakfast?
Well, actually, I was subscribed to you for fashion. So I just got one of your emails and I said, this is interesting. Let's see what new opportunities this could bring. So
Well,
that's why I'm here.
Well, welcome, my friend. I'm so happy. What's your last name? Because maybe a last name will ring a bell.
Romero.
Joanne Romero. Okay. Forgive me. Did we ever sit down and meet? I don't think so.
No.
Yeah. Okay. That's good. That makes me feel like I'm not losing it. Well, welcome and thank you so much for coming. And, I'm going to actually popcorn on our friend Joanne, because transferable skills right now are everything. And I'm going to give you my idea of what transferable skills are, whether you're a small business and or a candidate in the marketplace professionally, and I'm going to ask Lisa Plant to do the same. Every business needs to sell a product or a service. In order to sell a product and a service, the transferable skills is getting that product or service delivered. So if you happen to be a designer right now, you're creating the product. And then business development has to entice someone to purchase that product. So if you're in if you're in design, let's just use that, the transferable skill is understanding your target audience, right? Designing into that target audience so business development can then go and sell it. If you're in sales, the transferable skill is understanding what your target audience also wants and knowing how to package that so that you can entice them to take part and buy your brand or service. So everything, and whether you're making rain jackets or you're making Sonos beautiful speakers for a car, or you're making home goods, the glass I'm drinking in, or you're making plants, dirt for a plant, all of these are goods and services. Okay. In Lisa and I's case, Lisa, the recruiter, we are servicing organizations on how to best build their teams. There is a process. Everybody has a transferable skill. Your process is your transferable skill. When you design, you come up with a vision, you pick the color palette, you do your trend research, you then create, you decide, you say, that's not good, this is going somewhere. Process, A, B, C, D. I take the intake. What are you guys hiring for? Are we putting a Band-Aid, or do we have a guy or girl that's really going to help your organization long term? My job is to understand the process of putting these people through the vetting process to get the right candidate for the job that really they are looking to fill. So these are transferable skills no matter what you guys are doing. No matter what you're doing. When Lisa works in the IT world, technology, she could maybe say to you, I need product managers to be the client facing. You don't even need to understand technology. You have nothing to do with IT. We're selling IT, but I've got to service that client. So if you understand servicing a client, or if you understand taking a client from an intake all the way to a sale, right? These are transferable skills. So I'm happy. Thank you, Joanne, for bringing that up. She likes technology, so she's adding it into her fashion background. We have transferable skills in our guts and our nuggets. We are all filled with them. It's understanding how to unzip and put them into the right places. Lisa, can I ask you to speak on this?
Absolutely. It reminds me of a search that I'm doing right now for my current company. We are looking for an infrastructure engineer with very specific technology that's listed. It would be very easy for someone to read that description and say, oh, I don't have these specific skill sets. However, I am looking for people that have very similar skill sets. So if they don't have Terraformer, but they've worked with Kubernetes, that's fine with our company. I'm not going to put that on a job description and say, if you don't have this, that's okay. We'll take this technology.
Right.
Let me know that you have something that's very similar. Let me know that you were able to move from AWS to G Suite and you haven't done it before, but let me tell you about a very similar situation I was in last year with my company. I moved them from one system to another. It might not be the exact same system, but that's a transferable skill.
Okay, exactly. And what are some of the things that you would say are let's talk turkey. The girl or guy comes to you and they have the 3 things that they need as a business nugget. In addition to that, what do you want? What would you say after the skills and expertise check mark? What are you looking for in that leader or person? What's of interest to you?
You always pinpoint this, Amy, in the 1 hour that we've been speaking. What can you do for us? How can you fill this position? This is our business need. This is what we need. Great that you have X background. This is wonderful. What can you do for us right now? Tell me, how do you fit into this role?
Okay, I misled your question, although that's great to hear again.
Oh, sure.
What other things, like I'll feed you, or what's the word when you something the witness, when you feed the witness or you prompt the witness, that one liner. To me, it's cross-functional communication. In every job today, if I talk to people and they can't speak to how great they are cross-functional communication today, I really take a look at them as not the best candidate. See what I mean? In addition to them being a designer or a sourcing or logistics or supply chain, you know, so it's leadership for me. What else would be for you? Leadership, communication?
Sure. How do they interact in a group? There is a group of 4 that they're going to be a part of. Do they listen well?
Yeah.
What skills do they have apart from the other 3? Perhaps the other 3 people have specifics in their background, but this is their need. So talk with the company, ask them questions after they've found out about you. What is it you're looking for in a candidate? You listen well, and you tell them how those skills are transferable.
Yeah. And I also, I just have such faith in my life. And I know that, I live in a place of complete abundance, which is a beautiful gift that God gives me every day. And it's back to the humility piece too. I think companies they want to know that you're trainable. You'll jump into they want your initiative. This is what I'm finding. They want that initiative. And I love Russia for sharing that initiative. And yet they also don't want you to come reinvent the wheel quite yet because they think they're doing okay. So it's how you position, how you can make that pivot for them. Do you know what I mean? So that humility factor, that you're a team player, really, I should pull this into communication, leadership, and being a team player. Accountability for what you're up to, but you're a team player. You're rallying your team. Like you just said, you listen. These are all the same skills. They're just with different words.
Right. What I like about the people that are at our company, they're a humble bunch. You could have someone who is a PhD who's interviewing, and if they come off bravado and I've done this and this is what I've done, good for you. Is that going to translate well to a group of 3 or to the manager that you feel like you can do their job? I don't want to hear that. So no matter how qualified you are, if you ask questions and if you find out what it is that we're looking for, you can get a feel for a person pretty quickly on how strong they are. Someone will come to me and say, I am the best SQL developer out there. And I think, really, let's see about that.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. So let me thank you, little Missy. Guys, today is a day to really take a look at how we are presenting ourselves in this way. And this is why I think it's really fascinating that Lisa came with this recruiter perspective and that we all need to share. It's the same stuff everyone is looking for, whether you're in IT, whether you're in compliance, like we had wonderful Tammy last week, or I'm in more consumer goods and the manufacturing end of life. The transferable skills are things to really think about, and to think about when you are in your own small business also. What are you offering that company, right? What you may service. Now, I use Cindy Ray because I understand her pops, and Steve I because I understand his promotional things. But they're not just offering Cindy Pop Ray's pops. They're not just offering promotional material. For the matter of fact, those aren't the important part. Those 2 are elevating the event because of the swag. They're elevating the event because they're adding interaction. Cindy Ray, throw a pop-up so I can, right? You're making my Zoom by adding that. And she brings those to conferences and says, send these to all of your participants, and then they're going to use these. And you've just built a bond with your audience. Today, we're building bonds. We're building bonds with companies. We're building bonds with hiring managers. We're relationship, not results. We're building the bonds so that they know that you are impactful and that honestly, they can't do it without you because of the way you have put yourself in that place that says what's in it for them and that you're elevating them. Branding is aspirational. Nike, you don't know that what the quality of the fabrics they use in their footwear. You don't even care. It's just do it, right? They've branded themselves. It's just do it. Get on this, put the sneakers on and run. You don't talk about the sneaker. So again, who you are as a brand, what are you bringing to the table for that corporation is how I feel when I think about this last 60 minutes. That's one of the takeaways for me. Lisa, I want to thank you very much for coming. Welcome to our community. It's a treat to know you, and we will talk offline again. Goodbye, everybody. We'll see each other next virtual breakfast where we'll get your professional edge on again. Talk to you all later.